Welcome to DFS Karma, where we talk about our favorite fantasy sports plays for football, basketball, baseball, and pretty much everything else. Be sure to check out and create an account with all of our partners, such as MonkeyKnifeFight.online, PrizePicks.online, and StatHero.online. Use the promo code KARMA on any of these sites to get an exclusive deposit bonus. And don't forget to check out all of our free fantasy content on DFSKarma.com, as well as our own premium plays. Without further ado, let's get the show on the road. Please welcome today's hosts.
Oh yeah, you feel that, Sam? Oh yeah, we had to open with it. We're back. The Teeing It Up podcast edition. I'm your host, AC, with DFS Karma and BetKarma.com. I got my co-captain, Sam Sherman. Of course, we had to hype up the intro. We had another huge week this week, especially at Bet Karma. Sam wrote up John Rahm in his article. It was the bet again, and we hit. And there were guys, man, with huge wins. Obviously, I had a nice 5-figure win on top of the last few outright. So we're rolling, man. We're streaking. I mean, it's fun. Let's be real. You and I mentioned this in our Discord chat with our subscribers. Like, it's not going to continue. I would love it to continue. Who knows? Maybe, you can carry some fire here in the next couple of weeks, because I've never been on a personal run like this before, and it will run dry. But again, we're going to continue to have some fun with it. So with that being said, how was your week in specific? Let's talk about seriously, dude, like some of those screenshots from the people that got the plays at Bet Karma. I know you saw it, $3,000 wins, $5,000 wins, $7,000 wins. BetKarma.com. Hop in that chat. That's how you get our picks. How was last week, Sam?
Dude, I swear, it's so funny. This keeps happening on the DFS side and Bet Karma side. It's like I won like $500 on Rahm, and I felt like the biggest like wuss bag in there. Like I was like I had like the 9th highest win of anyone. Like it was like you throwing in there like $10,000 wins. Some dudes have been riding this heater. They're like, boy, golf betting is pretty lucrative. I was like, I've been trying to say that for years, dude.
It's
like,
the best. There's nothing better. Yeah. I mean, it's exponentially scalable.
DFS, I don't know. I ended up breaking even. I continue my cold run with no big wins. Dude, Daniel Berger killed me. Oh my God. His end on Friday when he went bogey and then doubled his last hole from the fairway and to miss the cut by one, that torched me so bad. I had a lineup with ended up, I think I had 3 guys in the top 10 and 2 other guys in the top 20, and then Berger. It's like, oh my God, like that hurt. That one stung, but it was fine. I'm crushing my one and done. That big Gups one and done pool. I'm up to second place out of like 1,000 some people. So what? I know I'm gonna drop, dude. I know.
What's the buy-in in that?
That's like $100. I think you win like 15 grand for first. So I can keep this. Yeah,
you're in second right now.
Yeah, I hope I don't peak too early.
Shit.
Yeah, I went on a run in that one. What?
That's awesome. I mean, I tried that last year. I didn't have success, but then B, you know me, I just forgot to start, my guys and put them in there. So then I really ejected. So that was my time with the one of them.
Remembering your pick is like half the battle, but yeah, I think I picked 5 winners in my one and done pool. So been a good run. I hope I've basically built up enough lead to miss like 6 winners, to miss like 6 cuts in a row. But this field is not the Memorial, but it's still DFS. There's still a Millie Maker, which is so funny, dude. What a world! There's a Millie Maker with 3 of them open.
We are living in the best times of the golf era, as we've mentioned before, right? I mean, this is the time to embrace it. I don't think it's going to go away just when our main sports come back, ironically, this week. Speaking of which, shout out to our crew that's getting ready. We have a lot coming out, not only at DFS Karma. Stay tuned for all our MLB stuff dropping. I mean, it's live. It's on the site, under subscriptions for all the sports. But NBA is coming back, so we're pretty excited. And then I'd be amiss not to keep going back to Bet Karma. Like, we have a lot of things, our prop predictors coming out, our simulations, tons of content is flowing to that site. And, you get the one-on-one personal touch with our chat Discord, which is, again, you can find those products under the subscription tabs in both sites. Golf last week and real life talk was freaking awesome. Like, we love Birdie Fest. That's what this week's going to be. I think this week's podcast will probably be even shorter than weeks prior here because we'll get into it. Sam already mentioned Wakefield. This is a complete Birdie Fest. Just taking a quick, glance at last year and some of the notes that we talked about this morning. But I liked seeing the extremely tough conditions this week. I mean, I'm 60 minutes north of where the Memorial is. I was telling Sam I tried playing golf with my boys, and it was ridiculous. Like, for amateurs, I mean, obviously pros are different, but it was fun to see. Like, I kind of enjoyed watching the really tough conditions. It was, I thought, awesome. And then, of course, Sunday, I mean, Sam, I don't know if you were actually watching. I don't know if you mentioned that Sunday because, let's be real, Rahm was up by a touchdown. And even I got bored. I'm like, there was a huge thunderstorm that rolled in. I'm like, all right, babe, let's watch Netflix, pull it up. Like, I can't believe it got to that on a Sunday. And they had that rain delay. And I was like, you know what? I am going to obviously go back after this rain delay and start watching. Of course, I have this huge win online, but I already felt like it was over. And I know that that's the curse you should never even think about because, let's be real, you're always going to reverse jinx yourself. And, of course, with like 9 holes to go, an 8-shot lead mysteriously turned into 3. I mean, I couldn't believe it was happening. And I wasn't nervous because I was like, the mathematical odds within 9 holes in these conditions actually physically losing, 8 strokes. Like, I just felt like no matter what, he had a buffer, and it did turn out obviously to help, including that ridiculous chip in on, what was it, 16?
Yeah, that was a crazy shot.
At that point, Rahm started doing Rahm things as much as we love him. We've hyped him up over the years at DFS Karma, like legit since day one. I love him. Dude's definitely one of my favorite golfers. He takes over number 1 in the world with the win, which was, icing on the cake. But dude, when he made that chip in, he was only up, 3 until that went in. And the scenery behind that shot was incredible because Palmer lucked out. He should have been in the water. He got a little friendly hop just short of the freaking green. And then Rahm pulled it in the thick stuff with the short green to work. And when that went in, dude, I did a fist bump in my room. My dog jumped up like I was coming to attack him. But, it was fun, even though he still had a huge lead. Then turned out to be.
Palmer was the only one I was worried about. I mean, I knew Fenow was a coward. He would choke. Palmer was the only one I was like, he's not going to I was like, Palmer probably is not going to shoot 1,000. I mean, he's like a decent win player, but I was just glad Ron
I mentioned that too. I was right with you, man. Like, I wasn't worried about anybody. They were talking about hedging, and we've done a decent job of hedging, whether it's worked out or not, over the golf season at Bet Karma. And I just chose with the lead. I was like, I'm not hedging. I had one hedge the whole weekend. It was JT. Got him at 40-1. It didn't pan out, but I still liked it, and he kind of slowly started creeping back up. But yeah, I knew Fenow was going to eject in those conditions, but I did get a little nervous with Palmer. But anyways, I digress. So let's kind of get into it this week. Again, incredible week. So, I mean, I'm proud, dude, to see all those huge screenshots. DFS Karma and Bet Karma, incredible work by everybody. And if you like the content that Sam and I are providing, maybe it'd be awesome if you could go give us a review on iTunes, YouTube, subscribe, follow the channel. I mean, we're not asking for much, Sam, right? I mean, or am I wrong?
10 seconds.
Legit,
it takes
10
like
seconds.
10 seconds. Yeah.
Share it on social media. I mean, we're giving you these huge wins. So let's keep it going. All right. As always, we're going to talk about 3 tiers-ish, plus or minus. There is a ton of random guys in the 6K range. So we'll take a brief extra second on that just because there's like a lot of weirdos. This field is extremely weak. Let's just do what we always do. We'll start up top. $10,000 and above. We got Paul Casey up to Dustin Johnson. I'm looking at pricing live on this podcast. It's Monday. I actually kind of enjoy doing this, so I'll start each tier with Sam. Who are you looking at as a building block? Also, your main leverage play.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are too sharp these days, so he won't be low owned. But I mean, like, I'm obviously going right back to DJ. I mean, he looked as bad as he's ever looked last week. But like, if you remember literally 2 weeks ago, Ryan Palmer shot 16 over at the workday and then came at the Memorial and then finished like second. So clearly, like, form matters. Like, shit happens, dude. Like, guys can come back. DJ is still one of the best in the world. That price tag, I hope, scares people off. I will absolutely not be playing Fenow. He's a coward. He'll be incredibly popular, like, whatever. Like, he ranks really highly for me. He just doesn't have the ability to get it done. But I think the two guys I'll play in this range, and they'll be chalk, is DJ and Casey. Casey, I was hoping less people would be on just because, like, yeah, he screwed a lot of people, including myself, last week, but he literally had one bad hole. I mean, it was an abysmal hole when he made it a par 3. Like, that's the only reason he missed the cut. Like, it's not like he was ball striking pretty well. So those are the guys. Fleetwood is always popular. I haven't seen him play, so I just have no idea what he's going to bring to the table. He'll probably be good, but I have no idea. And Brooks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I never played Brooks, and he looked awful last week again too. He had a couple nice. He should win this turn. I mean, honestly, like, I don't know. I mean, you dive into the data. I still don't like the data. I've never really liked it to begin with. I don't like him this week. I mean, again, Birdie Fest, he could win, but I'll probably fade him more likely in DFS. Agree to disagree on Tony Fenow. He's always been kind of my guy. I actually really want it, and I try not to bet guys, lower than 18 to 1, I guess, is kind of where I take the stand. He's at 15. I don't know. I like Fenow a lot. I think he could win this week, so a little bit of a different take there. But I get it. DJ, man, I will disagree on the game theory, not the play. I think he will be lower owned. I think people are sore losers, and especially because he's 11-5. I just know how these DFS people are. Yes, he'll be owned, but I think he's going to be lower owned than we both think. And then, yeah, Paul Casey is a sharp play, but also, like you said, people are smarter, so I would assume he would be more popular. I like Casey a lot. I'm not going to give away all my picks because, well, I've been hitting so much. But the one thing I will say, we talked about it, both Sam and I at betkarma.com in the Discord chat. Paul Casey, to me, because of that one hole, I feel like is underpriced in the betting market. So it was an auto bet for me. What was it, 25 to 1? I feel like, honest to God, if he made the cut last week, and he probably would have, and he would have 100% and finished well, he'd be at 18 to 1. With Tommy Fleetwood. Like, I'm sorry, there's no difference between Tommy Fleetwood and Paul Casey. And then to finish up, yeah, I've always played Tommy Fleetwood. I'm with you though. Like, I don't know what the hell he's been doing. I mean, maybe there'll be some news that comes out. Matt from our NFL squad, he always makes fun of me. I love Instagram stories, as far as following the players. Maybe there'll be like hot news item on Tommy Fleetwood.
I have the news on Fleetwood. I mean, I know what he's been doing. He's been quarantining up at Shinnecock. That's what he's been doing. So I don't know. I mean, again, that's badass, but also, like, I don't know how that translates to tournament. So,
by the way, speaking of, the weather, tough conditions and all that, Sam does make fun of me when I bring it up early in the week, but I did go to school to try to be a weatherman, like, way back in the day. And then I realized I couldn't make money doing it. So I stopped. There could be a big weather edge. Like, it's tough to tell right now, but the weather is not going to be great this week, which is really interesting. So again, you should probably consider. I felt like I almost made my card probably too early, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to overthink it. I'd rather get the better lines. I do think there potentially could be a weather edge this week, just based on looking at things. But all right, let's move on to the next section. We'll go from Bubba Watson, who I guarantee nobody ever will play this week. I don't know. I could be wrong. He just priced really weird at 99. And we will go down to let's go down to Brian Harmon at 8,000. So it's kind of a long range. So we'll take our time. Again, start with the poll. Couple building blocks you like in this range.
Yeah, I'll probably just eat the chalk here. I mean, for the most part, I'm not going to play Bubba. If there's any chance of wind, I never play Bubba. He just has said he sucks in the wind. But I love Harris English. I think everyone else does too. I already bet him. He's really good on the course.
You were on him last week. I give you credit for that.
Yeah, I always,
damn. Sam was like, Sam knew something. This motherfucker. This dude's like in third place.
Yeah, he just is pretty solid. He's a really good bent grass putter. And then I'm surprised as many people are on him, but like Eric Van Rooyen, like I always play. He normally screws me. I bet him too. You guys gonna be popular. I like him, and I like Redmond. Glover, I think is gonna be could be the highest owned on the slate, besides maybe like Fenow. And I like Glover. I mean, he's ranked second in my overall model. He's made every cut. He's finished really highly. He's averaged the most birdies per tournament in the last 5 events with 19. I mean, he's been really, really good. I just, from a game theory, I'm like, God, dude, Shock Lucas Glover like works out like literally never. And then I don't know. I'm not playing in 9,200 Russell Henley. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, I was playing that dude at 6,900 and he was missing cuts for me a couple weeks ago, so I'm not playing at 92.
I gotta hate my boy Russell Henley.
I like Henley, dude, but that's an egregious price.
I know, but look at the field. So, yeah, I mean, very similar takes. Lucas Glover, FYI, everyone, we are starting to get enough data out there now. So you might hear us talk a little different on these podcasts relative to if you were tuning in a few weeks ago when we were coming off quarantine and we didn't really talk too much on data. But Lucas Glover, for me, ranks third in my model. I like him a lot. I mean, I'm not really kind of going to overthink ownerships this week. He's just so consistent, so good. I made an egregious mistake in cash games last week. And I don't know why. I put him in my main tournament roster. So I guess it kind of worked out because that roster cashed. But my cash line cashed, but it could have been beyond elite, I guess. And I'm trying to talk a little greedy, but it had that top 5 percentile if I went back to my original pivot with Glover in it. And I'm not going to make that mistake again this week. I'll probably play Glover in cash games. I might even start with Glover in cash games. I am going to consider actually playing Paul Casey in cash games as well, but I'm going to marinate on that. But I haven't looked at all the pricing and just the way it's looking like. I think playing even Paul Casey in cash games kind of makes sense, but I digress. I'm not playing Ruin. I know you like him. You put a bet on him. I think there's the possibility he could win, but he's extremely volatile. I've kind of been on the wrong side of that. So some of the other guys you brought up, like, wow, him at, XYZ price. For me, at first glance on Monday, when I see Ruin, who I know is going to get some probably industry love, I don't think I want to play that guy. I'd rather play Lucas Glover. I'd rather play, dude, I like Russell Henley a lot this week. A lot. He ranks first in my model, but here's why I really like him. So besides that, strokes gained tee to green, last 12 rounds, he ranks first. Greens in regulation, he's just crushing. Like, he's so elite right now with just greens in regulation. I know that might not be a number one indicator, but my number one indicator for players that I really look for positive regression is opportunities gained, and he's first. He's first in that stat. He's hitting every fairway. He's first in his approach game, and he's first in ball striking. I mean, this almost looks like Rory-esque. I know it's kind of a joke, but he's playing really well. He's just not. And the thing with Henley is he's actually, like, historically a pretty good putter, but his putter hasn't been there. It's actually let him down. So, my God, if his putter comes around, this is the type of guy that can just randomly win 2 tournaments out of nowhere and then, yes, kind of disappear again for, like, a year or two. Henley can win, and I am going to consider even him in my main build. So that's that. I know Doc Redman's going to get love. I don't think you brought him up.
No, I don't mention his ball striking is so insane. It's amazing how bad of a putt. Dude, he lost over 6 strokes putting last week in 2 rounds. Like, I don't even know how. Like, that's like Hideki, Benny Ann style. Like, I don't even know. Yeah. He literally hits every fucking green and just misses every single putt. It's
definitely going to consider him.
Yep.
Couple other guys I want to mention. Right now, I got to continue to pay loyalty rewards program, bonus money towards Henrik Norlander. I mean, you got me on this guy like 4 weeks ago. I actually remember on the podcast saying, who's Henrik Norlander? And then you said blah, blah, blah. I've played him now like twice in a row in big teams, like my cash game builds, and I'm watching him Sunday, like in the final group, like the last 3 groups. It's just hilarious watching a 6,300 Henrik Norlander last week. And he didn't win me my cash games, but it was sure damn nice to have him. You know what I mean? Like, it was lovely to have him in there. But he's playing really well. He's an elite ball striker. But the one thing that I really liked watching him last week, and yes, looking through the stats, He did gain a lot of strokes putting. He was just kind of, I noticed, good with his ball flight in the wind, which I think, again, we got to just talk about it later this week. I think the wind's going to be in play. So I like Norlander a lot. People might get faded away. My last guy, and I don't know how these guys are going to project. I'm going right back to guys. I'm going to Matthew Wolff. I think people are just going to be like, you know what, 9,700. And same with the betting market. He won last year. He can't win again. You know that stigma. I like Wolff a lot. Like, he's first in birdie percentage gain in the last 12 rounds. He's actually playing pretty well. He actually played not bad at the Memorial. I like him. But then, of course, like my favorite guy, Sam Burns. I don't know if I'll play Sam Burns in cash, but I love Sam Burns this week. Like, look, he's going to be either in my cash game or he's going to be in my main tournament build. But Sam Burns, a lot of love for him. Other than that, I mean, there's a bunch of guys in that range. I'm probably not playing them if I didn't mention them.
I'll go back to losing money with Max Holman, dude. I'm wondering if people are sick of him yet. It's funny, like, he keeps screwing both of us, but, like, he literally misses the cut by one shot. Like, he's not missing the cut by a million. His off the tee is really solid. I mean, he's basically, if you take he's gained an approach in his last 3 or 4 tournaments. He's gained off the tee in every tournament this year except for one. I mean, he just needs to, like, putt halfway decent and he'll be fine. I mean, he's such a good ball striker. I'll go back to Holman and hope people have been burned by him too many times, but that's probably it for me in that range.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I might be one of those guys that's done with him. And
no, I get it. Trust me.
You probably uncovered an edge just by like standard people are legit done with him. All right, let's go down. We're going to start zooming through here because things get kind of funny once we start moving down the lower 7K range. So Johnny Vegas, 7,900. And we'll stop at, what do you want to stop at? I feel like we should at least address the 6K range, but let's just stop at 7,000 with Emiliano Grillo and friends, Chase Seifert. Seifert actually played well. What was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. No, I got some guys I like in this range. I mean, obviously I'm going to play Carlos Ortiz. I don't ever not play Carlos Ortiz. He's priced way up, which is hilarious. I mean, I'm going to play my 2 favorites in this. Actually, my 3 favorites in this range are probably Ryan Armour, who, like, it's weird. He hits the ball so short. He, like, gains off the tee every single tournament. He has 2 top 6s in his last 3. And then Scott Stallings, I feel like I've been riding that train for the last couple tournaments. He's gained off the tee in the last 3. He's gained on approach in 2 of his last 3. He's not really that expensive for this terrible field. And then, I don't know, my other guy, weird. No, pretty funny. Richie Berwinski is going to be popular this week. I have projected 12% right now at that price. I think Sam Ryder is an elite play. He's gained our approach in his last 4 or 5. He finished 7th 2 weeks ago. He didn't play the Memorial. Sam Ryder is funny. I started playing him when he first got on the tour. You talk about volatile like Aaron Van Rooyen, like he'll make like 7 birdies in a row and then like 3 doubles. Like he's a great DK scorer. He's a great ball striker. And he actually ranks pretty highly in every category for me. It's just a matter if he kind of shows up, because if he starts hitting it badly, he just collapses. But those are my favorite 3 guys probably in that 7K range. What about you?
Yeah, interesting. I see why for Richie Berwinski. God, if that guy's 12% owned, I mean, that's just the easiest. Cash games, GPPs, like I won't even touch them, you know? That'll be interesting to look. By the way, speaking of projections, DFSkarma.com, if you go to golf, under the tab projections portal, that's where these projections of the ownership and the players are, including the values and the ratings. I won't touch Berwinski, but I will if he's lower owned. I mean, he projects well in my model. That's like splitting hairs at this point. I don't know, man. Carlos Ortiz, like, I get it. You and I kind of rode that train for a while, but he's really kind of like not lived up to what I've paid for him over the last couple months. So I don't know if I'll go there. A guy that you don't want to play in cash game, but since we're in a weird range where there's like Siwoo Kim's there, I mean, Siwoo Kim could win. Johnny Vegas, that's why I wanted to stop in this range too. Like, I'm not a historic lover for Johnny Vegas, but he's got more upside than pretty much any of these guys in the upper 7K range. From, I'm really kind of favoring the distance angle this week. I'm sure that will become a popular narrative. And Johnny Vegas, how many times do you open your app or something like on a Thursday morning and Johnny Vegas is winning? Like he's so good on Thursdays, and it's like, wow, Johnny Vegas is 6 under, sweet. Like, at least he's making the cut. But then he'll, fizzle out. So I don't know. I mean, I'm probably gonna take him into account. Fratelli's looked pretty good. Did you bring him up?
No, I like him. I didn't want to bring up every guy. I like Fratelli. He's looked pretty solid.
He's just like a gamer, like he's not. It's hard to put a pulse on what he really is, but he's been lingering. I mean, you and I have talked about him quite enough. Kyle Stanley, obviously, I fall for the Kyle Stanley trap, but that's just me. I suggest don't. That's like the one guy that I always get kind of wrong, but I'll probably fall into that trap. Again, it's just hard with cash games this week. I feel like even looking at pricing right now, like, I like Troy Merritt. I didn't realize he was here at 75. I thought he was a little bit lower. I might go back to Troy Merritt. I mean, he missed the cut this week. I did put an outright on him. People were kind of on him a little bit last week. He has upside. He's kind of like that Johnny Vegas type player. But again, these guys are all, wouldn't you agree, very volatile, like all these guys? Like, is there any cash game? Would you consider any legit building blocks that you would be like, yeah, I feel really strong about in this range? I mean, I don't see anyone, to be honest.
Based on talent, I'd play Charlie Hoffman in cash. I mean, that's pretty cheap. I think he's better than a lot of these guys. I mean, Charles Howell kind of looked not horrible last week. I feel like he's been on a run of bad for a real long time, but I wouldn't mind playing Charlie Hoffman in cash. I also would consider Wyndham Clark just because I love Wyndham Clark, but he's horrible. But,
is that the Panda down here at 7K?
No, dude. Jinzhu Zhang, he's a goat, dude. He literally will go like 9 under and then shoot like 80. He's hilarious.
Jason Kokrak's down here. I didn't realize he was in the field, so this might be our guy. I'm pulling up his data right now.
Kokrak was through, I think.
Wow, he looked bad I'm looking at the workday right now, the Travelers.
Kokrak withdrew last week, and I think he's like actually injured. I think he's not playing.
Oh, he's not playing this week?
No.
Okay.
But
that guy
playing
would be of value.
at 7,100, and he's going to be a lock. He might win this tournament.
Who's that?
The Gooch is loose. The Gooch.
Oh. Man.
Dude, he ranks top 30 in every category I'm looking at. I mean, he played here last year. I mean, I don't know, 7,100?
What did he finish last year?
The
Gooch does, what is he, 7,100? I don't see him in my field.
He barely made the cut last year, but whatever.
He has been scoring a lot of birdies, actually, which is interesting.
Just for reference, Carlos Ortiz did finish 5th here last year, just so everyone knows.
Oh boy.
Yeah, dude. What's funny is I actually have a bunch of guys in the 6K range, and by a bunch, like 3 guys in the 6K range I actually like a lot. You definitely know one of them.
Let's hear him, because I have not looked. Oh, there's one guy I think I like. Go ahead.
Someone I have never mentioned on this pod for sure, who's actually gained on approach in his last 3 and off the tee in his last 4. Bryce Garnett, dude, who's like such a loser, is like kind of been playing pretty well.
I would never think to. What's his price tag?
No. 6,900.
Bryce Garnett.
Played here last year.
I don't think I've ever looked into him before.
I've never played him, I don't think. Garnett finished 23rd here last year. I mean, it could be a lot worse. And then, dude, our boy might be cash, 6,800. Vaughn Taylor, mispriced, dude.
He's been like my Carlos Ortiz recently, though. But I do agree. He's the problem with him is I really am going to bake in a driving distance this week, and I don't want to deal with Vaughn Taylor and his little 265-yard drive and getting stuck in the water. I mean, I just want – that's why I kind of want to focus on these guys. Like, even if they're volatile, like, again, I have not even made a roster, but I have a feeling I'm going to have to be, like, forced to play, like, a Johnny Vegas or something this week. Like, a guy I don't want to play in cash games because, I don't know. I mean, like, there's not much down here. I mean, the only guy that I kind of like you bringing up is Gooch a little bit. What about Matthew Naismith? I mean, this guy makes a lot of cuts.
I'm playing Naismith, too.
Upside. I mean, he struggled.
I'm playing Naismith here. Yeah, he's looked terrible, and he screwed me a couple weeks ago. He, for me, when I take a blend of approaches over the last, like, 4, 8, 12, 24 rounds, he ranks 6th for me in approach. He just has sucked everywhere else, so it's kind of hard. But I like Naismith a lot. I'll probably play Adam. I like Seamus Power at 6,500. You've definitely never played him either.
I have in the past, like 3-4 years ago in DFS. I played Seamus Power.
He can make birdies. he can make birdies. He hasn't done a lot of rounds, so his stats might be a little skewed, but he can make birdies when he actually gets going. He just is obviously volatile because he's $6,500, but yeah, dude, when it gets below like
down here,
obviously I'm playing Cam.
I was just gonna say,
yeah,
I just saw him. I was like, wait a second. I mean, yeah, this is a guy that like, 4 missed cuts in a row, but you would assume that
he's like
at some point he's gonna spike for like a T20 for sure, and he does have some upside, no doubt. Like, I actually like that a lot. Is like one of your tournament plays this week, and I don't think anyone's gonna go back to that.
My main lineup again. I missed the cut by 50, but that's all right.
Yeah, I mean, there's just I'm not trying to rag on these guys, but Adam Shanks.
Dude, Adam Shank ranks first overall in strokes gained off the tee over a blended period. 6,900. Shank it up, dude. 21st in ball striking.
He has been on some leaderboards. Now that you say that, I feel like I've seen him a little bit. Yeah, this could be the guy if we want to go on recent form. The Rocket Mortgage in the workday. He didn't play at the Memorial, but he definitely gained 4.5 strokes tee to green and off the tee. So this is a guy
off the tee last 6 and on approach in his last 2. I'm just saying, like, when you're hunting for some sort of value and not complete garbage, I mean, like Shank, Garnett, Hadley, you got to assume one of them makes the cut.
I am ready to note down Adam Shank. I like this call. I really do. I've never played him in a main roster. I think I've had some MMA exposure to him, but he does look a little bit better than a lot of these guys are in this range, at least. I mean, people are going to play Emiliano Grillo at 7,000, and I was just highly advised never to touch that guy. We actually have an emoji in our chat with like a big red circle around him. He might pop in some of your guys' stat models and stuff. I mean, he always kind of looks like he should, but he doesn't. I mean, dude, he's 4th in opportunities gained. Like, that's what I'm looking into this week in the last 12 rounds. Like, he does what he does. He puts the ball close, but somehow he never scores. I don't understand. Like, it's just the math doesn't add up. I get it. He's a bad putter and all that, but
didn't he finish like dead last week or something?
He's awful. Anyways, the synopsis is tough this week as far as it being a weaker field, meaning I think there is going to be a lot more volatility. Even myself, I'm a pretty heavy cash game player in the right tournaments, but I think you just need to ask yourself what your own bankroll is for those wondering that. I think, in my opinion, I probably would lighten up, but you can do what you want to do, in cash games for who's ever playing cash games this week. I mean, I just think this week potentially is a little bit more volatile, but funner for tournaments, which we actually like too. I mean, it just depends on the type of player you are. To summarize, Sam, come up with your unexpected winning bet of the week. I'll give my, I said Paul Casey was my, more of a favorite. I'll give away one of my other bets. But do you have any other takeaways in this week's tournament at all? And who would be your lower-owned bet?
If I were to pick a long shot to win, dude, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna say Bryce Garnett, dude. Terrible field, kind of a scrub player. Bryce Garnett. I mean, what is 175? I'm gonna go bet that right now. I'll probably bet him top 10, top 10.
That's real deep. I'm going to go.
You might miss the cut.
My guy. 50-1, who I've given away at BetKarma, betkarma.com. Go in there, find the chat room. We got to go back to Mr. Sam. Samuel Burns. I don't think he's going to pop. And I think DFS is interesting. Like, I feel like his price is weird where some people probably won't want to pay. I don't know. Regardless, I think that he can actually win. Just like watching he's got swag, dude. He can win, that's all I'm saying.
He'll be owned, but not as high because people have in their head that since he's such a good Bermuda putter, every DFS like tout and people are always like, "Oh, only play Sam Bermuda," which is like ridiculous. Like just that's his best, he's bad in other ones. Like
he crushes drives, dude. Like he crushes drives, and that's what I want this week. And he's got like that scoring upside. Like he just knows how to score, man. Like some players are better than others regarding scoring. Like I know, crazy. Who would have thought? But that's my lower owned guy. You can find out. Yeah. All right. That does it. We're wrapping it up, folks. That's the 30-minute mark. The 3M Open. it'll be a birdie fest. It should be a lot of fun. We're going to see a ton of scoring. So, don't freak out too early Thursday morning when your players haven't even teed off and the other guys are like 9 under, because there's going to be a lot of scoring. You can find all of our content at both dfskarma.com and betkarma.com. There's all of the products and the subscriptions option. You can hop in the Discord and talk to Sam and myself and the other experts for all the other sports that are starting. So stay tuned for all those announcements. Twitter handles, DFS_Karma. Same with Bet Karma. Good luck this week, guys, and we'll talk to you next week. Peace.